Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of your favorite soccer podcast as we're going to discuss the past week. And we've got someone along to share what's been going on with the club. Oh, yes. And Dylan and I can finally complain about the heat and not get any flack on it because temperatures went crazy this weekend. This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast.
Towards the near post, the flick, and it's in. Darwin Jones with the response for Orange County. And it is a massive one. Off the goal, dominant in the last 10. Forrester in the middle now, gets around a few defenders. Forrester with the outside of the right foot. What a strike by Harry Forrester. It's the opening goal for Orange County.
Heads it down, back post, opportunity and a goal! A beautiful goal by Orange County.
This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, the first and only podcast dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. Follow us on Twitter at OCSC_SoccerCast or on Facebook at Orange and Black Soccer Cast.
How's it going, Orange County? Welcome to another episode of the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, presented by Roughneck Scarves and Icarus FC. We are the first and only podcast dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans and supporters. I'm your host, Ray Zamora, and I'm with you pretty much each and every episode as we discuss all things Orange County Soccer Club. Joining me as he does each and every episode, and the only person of this podcast that can claim he's been here for each and every episode, that's Dylan from Counterline Coalition. Dylan, how's it going?
It's going great. Glad to be here as I am every week. But who cares what I'm saying? We got a great guest on, so let's talk to him.
we do have a great guest, and let me go and just say this out the bat before we introduce our guest. If you notice, we did introduce one host from San Diego, Alan. I think he got a little scared once he found out that this guest is going to be joining us, especially after some of the stuff he was saying last week. Our guest this episode from Orange County Soccer Club, defender Rob Kiernan. Rob, welcome to the Orange and Black Soccer Cast.
Thank you, guys. Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
We're glad we can have you back on this episode now. Second time joining us on this wonderful podcast, talking about Orange County Soccer Club and a bunch of other stuff outside of soccer too. We were pretty excited when the club reached out to us and said, hey, Rob wants to join you guys this week. So that's always an exciting thing to hear the players want to come talk. So first thing I got to ask you, and Dylan and I get a lot of flack for complaining about heat when it gets to like the high 90s or maybe 100 degrees. But this last week in Southern California, it got to like 115 degrees for a few days there. You're coming from, England, and you're not used to that type of weather, I would assume.
Hey, listen, this London boy is not built for this heat. I'll tell you that. It's been a lot. The last few days have been definitely the hottest I've ever experienced, not just here, but in probably my life. And actually trying to play soccer with this heat and the air and just the whole sort of, you walk out the door and you're sweating, let alone trying to chase the ball around. So I can definitely vouch for that. However, it's a nice change to the grey and gloomy skies of London. So I'm not going to be complaining.
It's hard. You got the two extremes coming from Great Britain out here to Southern California, dealing what you've been dealing with here. We're not used to it. We don't typically get to 115 degrees in our area. I know some of the folks out there in Vegas or Phoenix or Texas have made fun of us in the past. So you went and experienced the heat in Vegas, and you said, I think before we went live, you said that was probably some of the worst heat that you've dealt with as a player. And then you guys sort of decided to bring it home here to Southern California. Talk about that experience in Vegas with that heat.
Yeah, I feel like we put it in our back pocket and drove it back 4 hours to give you guys some real heat. But no, for me, I've been in Vegas obviously on holiday a few times as a youngster, and even then it was uncomfortable, but you're enjoying yourself. Anyway, you put your boots on and you get out there in your kit, and it's a whole different ball game. The sweat's dripping off your head as soon as you get out to do the warm up. And actually, the gaffer gave me a little rest week that week, and I sort of played the last 20 minutes. And young Kobe did extremely well. He came on for his debut, so I was watching from the sidelines, and even then I was beating down my forehead. So let alone the guys that were running around. But the biggest thing for me, guys, is when I play, I try to be quite vocal, and I try to organise people around me, and I try to it keeps me alert as well as trying to organise the team and orchestrate what's going on in front of me. But as soon as I sort of opened my mouth, it was just dry mouth. You know, I had chewing gum in. I was thinking, right, listen, that might help. But honestly, I was banging trouble, and I just, you know, that heat is something that we have to deal with, especially us European guys. You know, we're not brought up around that heat, you know, and it's different. And I know you guys say it as well. It's not your norm. But even the last game we played against the Galaxy, you know, that was quite a hard one. I just felt like, and even it sounds silly, but I go on this weather app on our iPhones, and I'm sure you guys seen it. And I also look at the air quality, and I also seen that it was actually highlighted as extremely dangerous. So I thought, Jesus, you know, I'm in for a tough one again. So listen, it's all part fun and games. It's all part of the experience being here, and I wouldn't change it for the world, to be honest. So I'll just take it in my stride and just deal with it, you know.
So you brought up Kobe, and he made his professional debut with the team, you know, in your place for that match. What would you say you've done to try and help develop him and some of these other young players and get them to understand what the pro game is about, how to be professional soccer/football players, and how to get to that next level that they want to get to where you've been?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I feel like this is a conversation I have quite a lot. I think first and foremost, sometimes these guys don't know what's expected. They haven't been taught, and that's no fault of their own. It's just, you know, they haven't been brought up around that environment where perhaps we have at such a young age. I mean, I left school at 15 to go and train with the under 18s, and I was pushed into that world from such a young age that it became the norm. And a lot of what we try and implement into the young lads is just that 1% club where we're trying to do things that take us outside our comfort zone a little bit, and also trying to just do that little bit extra each day, each session, that will just over, you know, amount of years and time, it will really pay dividends. So Kirby, I hope to think that he maybe thinks I've taken him under my wing a little bit, because I certainly feel like I have a little bit. He asked me, he actually writes notes down in his notebook, and every sort of week we go through a few scenarios and different sort of situations on the pitch. Sometimes we FaceTime, you know, he's FaceTimed me before, and he has his notes, and it's great to see that he's hungry and he's learning, and he's got a great future ahead of him, I'm sure. He's physically got a lot of attributes. He's technically very comfortable on the ball, and he's learning his trade now. It's all about learning your position, and little tricks, little bits of advice here and there. You know, they go a long way, I think. So I'll definitely be, you know, taking him on the wing, as well as Roscoe. You know, we both have sort of taken that father role a little bit. You know, just a football father figure role. That's all. You know, nothing to do anything other than just try and help him. You know, and yeah, even the lads from Scotland, the lads from Rangers, you know, they're a little bit more advanced in terms of, you know, the amount of years they've been playing, but, you know, they're still hungry, and you know, we sit down and have chats about the times that we played in Ibrox and Old Firm games, and, you know, just my experience growing up as, you know, a young player trying to break into the adult world, you know.
Yeah, and I, you know, I love your sharing, you know, that you're willing to take the younger players, you know, under your arm, show them the ropes, give them an idea of what to expect. There's sometimes this knock of some of the players that come from Europe to play in the United States, that they're coming out here maybe to just collect the check, or maybe to sort of as like the early retirement, go get a couple years out in the United States, where there's decent competition, but it's definitely not what you probably see in other parts of the world. So I'm assuming you came out here to prove that you still have it, and you're still ready to go for another, you know, 4 or 5 years at your peak game, correct?
I'm probably coming into, you know, just probably when you look at a centre back, you probably say 28 to 32 is your prime years. I was in an environment where it was very stale back home, and I needed a change in terms of lifestyle as well as a new challenge. And I absolutely love it being here. You know, I think I've found my feet a little bit. It took me a little while. Obviously, I literally came before COVID here. I had one game, one training session with the lads. So it's not been an easy transition, an easy start, but I've managed to sort of really find my feet. I feel at home. I want to be here now for a very long time. I want to be considered as, you know, a regular in our first team, and really help develop some talent coming through, as well as help grow the club. So I'm very happy being here. I'm excited by the challenge, you know, that's going to be facing us for the next 3-4 years, growing this club to bigger status, bigger stature, and just kind of using the experiences and all the clubs that I've been at back at home. You know, I've played for some big teams with big infrastructures, big budgets. So I've kind of seen, you know, different sides of the scale. I appreciate that this club here is on a growing level, and it's, you know, not quite, you know, probably in the same level as some of the clubs I've been at, like Rangers and stuff. But, you know, that comes down to the budget. It comes down to fan base. And like I said, the infrastructure. But the club are doing things correctly. They're trying to achieve results. They're trying to do things the correct way and not cut corners. So it's an exciting time to be here. And I'm very thankful for the opportunity, to be honest with you.
Dylan, you have a question for Rob?
Oh man, I'm not even. The heat has melted my brain, as you can tell from that statement. And Ray asked all my questions, but Rob, you spoke to BGN, which is kind of the daddy of this podcast, if you will. And there were a few things he said. Probably the most controversial one is that you think In-N-Out is overrated. But understandable. I'm not gonna shame you for that one. Beyond that, we think of players as players and not necessarily people, because we only really get to see you for 90 minutes on a Saturday night or maybe a Wednesday night. But how has the transition been from leaving Essex to coming to Orange County, and what's life been like for you?
Well,
I'll
be brutally honest with you. It's been a little bit tough in terms of walking into a COVID situation. Obviously, I came from playing best part of 6 months during the season in Essex. So I'd kind of had been my rhythm again interrupted. I actually I felt ill a little bit, so lost fitness. I'm playing at the minute with a fractured rib. I've had a few little bumps and bruises along the way, so it's not been an easy transition. Even just little things like moving to the country and not having a social security number, couldn't get a phone, I couldn't get this, that. Even to get my apartment was a difficult situation because I had no credit here, and it's just at times I feel like it's quite tough. That America is not an easy place to transition to if you don't have certain things around you. So I've definitely learned the long and hard way on a few things. And yeah, it's a place that I see as home now. I don't have any ambition on going back to the UK. And I would love to see my future here. And also, I'm thinking even bigger picture and longer term, after I finish playing football in 5-6 years, whenever it might be, I'd like to think this is home, and I'd like to build a life for myself here. So these are my sort of real thoughts, and I'm brutally honest with you guys. That I love it here, and I just hope that I can find even more rhythm in my game. The heat's obviously a big factor for us guys, but I feel like I'm accustomed to that now. And I just want to go to strength, really.
So I want to ask you this question. I was waiting for Alan to make his way in here because I wanted him to be here for this particular question. But last week, after the San Diego match, he's from San Diego. He is a San Diego follower and a fan. So he sort of called you out for the end of the match, guaranteeing or just basically saying it was for sure a handball in the box. And then you're clapping right by the San Diego players, giving basically the ref props with the clapping was to rile up those San Diego players or get under their skin. What is your side of the story, Rob, on that? Was Alan right, or is he blowing it out of proportion?
Alan's 110% right. He is right. And you know what? I do rile up my opponents, and I do want to get them under their skin, and I do want to get an edge, and I do want to be horrible, and I do want to be nasty, because you know what? Football's not a nice game at times. So when you find those little edges, yeah, it will help. But I'll tell you one thing. I didn't intentionally handball the ball. My arm didn't rise. It just, it was coming through a bunch of bodies, and it maybe hit my arm. The referee didn't give it. We move on, So I appreciate everyone's thoughts, and that is football. You get the rough and the smooth at times. I've definitely experienced both sides of that. So in answer to your question, yes, it is to rile up my opponents, and yes, I like turning into a bit of a fight sometimes. So we'll see them in a few days on Sunday. So we'll get going.
And to be honest, a little bit of riling up your opponents and getting under their head, that's sort of part of athletics. In any sport, you're going to try and do a little bit of that, as long as you're not intentionally out there trying to break legs and take, end people's careers. I mean, it's all good. Go out there and get in their heads, get them frustrated. And who knows, they might use that as their bulletin board material there when they play you guys again, right?
So listen, I've played in some hostile environments, I'll tell you that, and I've been in some rough changing rooms, some nasty men. So a little bit of riling up is very PG, I'll tell you that. So I'll leave that for another day. But listen, it's part of the sport. It's part of everything. You watch boxing, you watch MMA, you watch anything a little bit to get an edge is obviously going to be is obviously trying to affect your opponent, and that's certainly something that I've learned over the years to try and do. So denying that in any way. No.
Perfect. And we love to know that there's someone on Orange County that's willing to sort of play those mind games and really trying to get that advantage there, especially when you're a defender back there and you're trying to rile up with some of these younger players around this league. Let me take it to a little bit of a fun side, or just, not so serious question here. And by all means, if you can't answer a full answer on this, no worries. What would be your ideal, like, starting 11 all-time soccer or / football team starting 11?
Oh. Okay, so people I've played with or just ever?
Let's go with ever.
All right. Okay. Schmeichel in goal, because I used to love him. Centre backs have got to be John Terry and Van Dijk. Left back's got to be Roberto Carlos. Right back has to be right back. I'm going to come back to a right back. My midfield, I'll play a 4-3-3. I'll have Steven Gerrard. I'll have Roy Keane, because I like a bit of a nasty guy in there. And then I'll put Neymar in the hole. Front three, I'll have to have Ronaldo, Messi, and I'll put Alan Shearer up top. I need to come back to a right back. So right back, I'm looking for an absolute athlete, because I want to get up and down the wings. Do you know who I'm going to go for? I'm going to go for Kyle Walker, purely because I think he just gives me an absolute engine, and I really do like his style of play. So yeah, I'm going to go for Kyle Walker.
All right, so one last follow-up on that. So you said Kyle Walker is your right back. Who was the better Kyle Walker, when he was with Tottenham or now that he's in Man City, as far as a player?
Man City, man. He's just gone to new heights. I mean, listen, the boys back home that have contact with Pep, they just say he's a god, and everything that I've seen and heard about him, he just fine-tunes players. He gives them that extra level, and he's an incredible athlete. And he'd be a tough guy to play against, put it that way.
Perfect. Well, thank you for answering that question. I want to give you a little bit of time on the microphone, because I know before we went live, you said you had some interesting stuff coming up with some training, or helping training some young players, correct?
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for giving me the opportunity. And listen, it's not here to try and put on anyone. It's just something that I'm doing during this COVID situation, and I found myself twiddling my thumbs a little bit, and not being able to leave the home. And I've always been quite interested in the coaching side of stuff, especially back home. I had an academy where me and fellow other pros were training kids and trying to just elevate them to that next level. And basically, we used the COVID situation to get on Zoom, and we started doing just ball mastery drills at home. And it's really elevated. It's really taken off, and we've managed to secure a few deals on social media platforms and stuff that we've got coming up. And basically what we're doing is trying to give players additional training from the comfort of their home. Obviously, with the safety regulations with COVID, people can't leave their homes. And we've just kind of, created an online community where kids come on for half an hour. They come and do their ball mastery. They do a bit of fitness. They do a bit of core conditioning. It's just a great way to have some sort of routine to their training, and just using whatever space they've got. It's just, some guys are in their garage. We've got guys and girls with different ages, different abilities, but we all come together, and we've actually now sectioned it off into different abilities, just because some guys are so advanced that they're sort of waiting for other guys who maybe just aren't quite at the same level. So it's been really exciting. So over the next sort of couple of weeks, I think we'll have some good announcements, and it's a great way for everyone to just do a little bit of exercise at home, especially playing football. Any little edge you can get has been a great help, and some of the guys have made real improvements. So we're really happy with it.
Can you get us fit, or maybe just me? Ray might be a lost cause. I
need it.
But can you? And I'll lay off the beer. But
yeah, I mean, we can try and help, mate. We can give you a little round the world and a catch on the back of your neck and do a little press up. We'll be flying.
Beautiful.
Perfect. Well, I want to thank you, Rob, for taking some time out and joining us on this. Again, we love when players are interested in coming and talking, and thanks for sharing information, or at least letting us know what you've been doing with helping some of these young hopefully future soccer stars that are looking for something to do to get some training in there. And right when we're about to let Rob go is when Alan is ready to jump onto the stream. So I'm going to let you head off, into the evening, Mr. Kiernan, and best of luck for the club in the coming matches. And hopefully the weather and the air quality cooperates to allow you guys to be successful and get those, at least get that that second place in the group so we can get into the playoffs.
Sure. Okay. Listen, guys, thanks for having me, and thank you for the support, and thank you for just being there and doing what you're doing. It's great for us to have that sort of network behind us. So we appreciate that, and if there's anything we can do to help you guys as well, then give us a shout.
Awesome. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Rob Kiernan, defender for your Orange County Soccer Club, taking some time to join us here on the podcast. Let's bring in his mortal enemy from San Diego, Mr. Alan Underwood. Hey, I don't know if you caught any of what Rob said. We asked him about your comments last week. And he said you were 100%, or was it 200%? I think it was 200% that you were correct.
Yeah. I mean, so
in both cases, that the ball did hit his shoulder arm area, and that he was trying to get under the San Diego player's skin a little bit there.
So we talked a little bit about this on the San Diego podcast tonight. We ran a little bit late. Carson stopped by. We had a good time. And I basically said the same thing about Vegas is if you're reliant on one call to win a game, then, I mean, you're basically rolling the dice. A player, their job is to rile up the other team and to get into their heads. You're going to face each other one more time this season. So, I mean, you're kind of building that and trying to get into their head and kind of rub it in. And I mean, I can't fault him. I'm not going to say oh, he's a jerk, he shouldn't have done. He's absolutely that's something that I think I would have done to get under someone's skin. And I think some of it's a little bit of friendly banter at that point. The game's over. And I mean, I can't fault him. He's not going to be yeah, I totally hit my hand to the ref, right? He's going to he's going to rub it in. They got away with the point. I think, Orange County probably should have, going into that game, probably wanted 3 out of it and only getting 1, but getting lucky to get 1. I think a call went their way. And the same thing with against San Diego played Las Vegas. There was a call that might have been offside. But if you're winning games 0-0, or if you're drawing games 0-0, you're drawing games 1-1, you're literally saying, hey, officiating, please take this game into your hand. And at this level, it's a crapshoot. You might get that call, you might not. And at the end of the day, if you don't get that call, it's on you to make sure you put yourself in a position that you're not reliant on getting a call to win a game. You want to go up and score and do what you can. And I think that's kind of the story with Orange County this year too, is if you're relying on getting a call or getting lucky, then I mean, your luck's going to run out eventually. Versus if you put the ball into the back of the net when you need to put the ball in the back of the net, you're taking the game into your own hands. And if you get a bad call, maybe it's a 2-1 as opposed to a 1-1 or a 0-0. So I'm glad he admitted it. I'm not late to avoid him. But I'm glad he came on. He's been fantastic for Orange County. I think he's been one of the better players versus some of the other backline players that I've talked about in the past. So I'm glad he came on. I'm glad he had a chat. I'm sorry I missed him.
You're not welcome. Allowed. Apology not accepted. There we go.
I will say this, though, as far as the ball hitting his arm, he did say he did not intentionally or lift the arm to try and block the ball. It wasn't it was just sort of the arm was where it was for that situation. And, so I don't think he admitted one way or another if it was a legit handball in the box. He said it did hit him in the arm area and his arm wasn't being, wasn't in a position that it shouldn't have been in that situation with the way his body was contorting and stuff like that. So, yeah. Let's get into this past week. Yeah. There was 2 matches that Orange County played, both of them against Los Dos. Both of them probably not the happiest moments for Orange County fans, even though they were able to squeak by with a result in one of them. And the other one was I'll ask Dylan, what's the word you were there, Dylan. What's the word
you can say? I can't use the word I want to use, but
like a piece of chocolate.
Melted
chocolate. And those that you won't know because Dylan was actually doing chocolate tasting from the stadium while that game was going on. So that's why I brought up that word. My wife's birthday this month, and we did a chocolate tasting scheduled for that evening. And we were hoping it was going to end right when kickoff happened, but it didn't. And Dylan was eating chocolate in the stands at Championship Soccer Stadium.
Yeah, and it melted because it was so hot. I have to say, I think Orange County played better in the second game. We switched off for a good period of time, but my God, that second half, my heart was not having a good time. I felt terrible that whole second half. Cammy Palmer scored a wonderful goal that I did not think he had in him because he just doesn't seem like the player to score a headed goal. Lots of discipline, better refereeing this time around. But yeah, I think Orange County I think Los Dos deserve something. They played too well over the 2 games to not get something. But wow, that was frustrating to see. And it's causing so many headaches heading into these final 6 matches. It's do or die now, and it's not particularly enjoyable.
Alan, what are your thoughts?
It's weird that Orange County won the game that they won out of the 2 matches. Moral of the story, I think, is also don't give up set pieces to LA because they can score from them. I think the other one is a defensive mistake and a bad giveaway that leads to a goal. It's the story of Orange County does enough to get into enough positions that they should be able to score multiple goals a game consistently. But whether or not they put them away is a different story. And if you watch back at the highlights, like if you look just at the highlights of the second match, like the second half is essentially all Orange County. It's all Orange County. Like Los Dos does nothing. If you look at if you go to SofaScore and you look at like they have like a beautiful graph of momentum. And if you look at the second half momentum, there are 4 tiny little blips from Los Dos. Everything else is Orange County. Orange County, Orange County, Orange County, Orange County. And I think we're painting a picture of a team that can do everything right except put the ball in the back of the net. And unfortunately, at this point, that's what's keeping them from winning. Like, this is a game Orange County probably wins 3-1 on most nights. The second match. The first match, I thought Los Dos played a lot better. And Orange County was able to get them caught back up before halftime. But Los Dos really put a thing on at the end and really tried to get a draw on the first match. I thought Orange County looked better the second match, and they were just unfortunate. And this is the problem with the beautiful game is you can outplay a team for probably a stretch of 50, 60 minutes, including the first half, and walk away dropping points, which is unfortunate because the run-in is going to be a doozy here in Group B.
Yeah, this is insane. I don't think any team or anyone of us predicted that Los Dos would be involved in that mix for that second playoff spot. I think we all thought it was going to be San Diego. Obviously, things haven't gone to plan, but this is the same Orange County issue that we saw in 2018 in that run from July to August, where the team was underperforming and really the team would not switch on until they'd conceded. If we can get through those first 15 to 20 minutes without conceding, then we were looking great. And if we scored first, we were looking great. But it's at this point, again, kind of that midsummer fatigue. Obviously, there's been less matches played, but they're coming at a more frequent. They're more frequent. There we go. And it's been kind of bleak. Like Alan said, we're getting to positions where we should be winning most games 3-0, 3-1, something like that. And instead it's 1-1 or maybe 2-1. Shots are just taking weird deflections or shots are finding themselves right at the keeper. So I think the biggest thing right now, right, you don't get a lot of time when you've got 2 or 3 days between a match is less so changing how we're playing, more so making sure that guys are switched on for those first 10 minutes. Because ultimately, that's what our downfall has been, is not being switched on. No disrespect to any of our current or former players, but it's not being switched on for the first 20 to 30 minutes of a match has screwed us 2 years in a row.
So then, are you trying to say then, Dylan, maybe they need a new pump up song before they head out into the pitch, or I mean, what's the solution to that? How does that get fixed?
Vocal
if it's a
players
continuing
like
problem
Rob.
from last season to this year.
I think it's vocal players like Rob in that back line. Mike Roscoe is not as vocal. He's very good. He's had a bit of a rough year compared to last year. But I don't think he's as much of that vocal leader that Rob Kiernan is. Guys like Aiden Quinn, guys like Ugo Okoli, honestly, the three of them, you've got one in the back line, you've got one in the midfield, and you've got one up top. And it's kind of not great that there's field mics, because a lot of the stuff that they're saying is not allowed because of the FCC. We can't repeat it on this podcast. But those guys are the ones that make sure that guys are switched on. I think that's the biggest thing. Leaders on the pitch, and then listening to the coaching staff.
So then it's safe to assume then, listening to the both of you, and this is what I would say though, the past week was disappointing as far as some of the performances, and then of course the results that we saw. Because I think we all said last week that you at least need to get a win and a draw this last week to say it was at least successful, and to get a win and a win against basically now what has turned out to be the team that seems you're going to be fighting for that second spot in Group B is disappointing, because you could have put 3 points between yourself and Lostos in this situation. There were actually 6 points between yourselves because it's a 6-point swing there. Let me ask you this: because I'm looking at like Google for the standings, which I know isn't always the most accurate. The tiebreaker comes down to goal differential, right? If they end up with the same amount of points, or does USL do it differently? Do it weird?
They do it weird. They do matches won, which doesn't make any sense to me. It is infuriating.
I guess that's why I'm confused.
The tiebreakers are wins in regular season, goal differential, goal scored, number of disciplinary points, and then a lottery conducted by the league.
Ooh. Fingers crossed for that.
I love
lottery.
the idea of a lottery. This happened in 2008 with the Olympics, where two runners finished at the same time, and the idea was we were going to flip a coin to see which one was going to go to the Olympics. It's a lot lower stakes here because it's just the USL, but that's kind of clueless. I'd like a head-to-head playoff. That'd be a little bit better.
If you're going to go crazy, do it that way instead of making it something that doesn't match. If you're not going to match the rest of the world, then go with something crazy. Don't go with something sort of
shootout like hockey or the old MLS days. That'd be wild. I'd put my money on Freddie Dill on that one.
Old MLS shootout rules, though, where you can like dribble up and you have 10 seconds to shoot.
You got 5 seconds? Is it 10 or 5?
5 seconds? I don't know.
I think it's
so
5 seconds.
Right now, LA has one more regular season win. Goal differential, Orange County is in front by 3 goals because they're positive 3 versus 0. Goals scored in regular season league games. Right now, Los Dos is like
way ahead.
Right. Orange County has 11. LA has 19. Number of disciplinary points. So right now, yellow cards, Orange County has 19. LA has 18. Red cards, which I'm sure are included, both teams have 0. So it's like neck and neck on all of the tiebreakers.
Except for maybe the goal scored.
Goals, yeah. So, but in fairness, like Orange County could go on a tear and score a bunch of goals.
In theory, they could. In theory, they really could.
Yeah.
Now, will that happen? Who knows? And can I just say right now,
mm-hmm.
if you're hearing the cricket is not in my studio here. It's somewhere else. So don't blame me if you're hearing that cricket. Let's do this, because this was going to be now a part of the schedule where you're back to sort of playing one game a week, at least for a couple weeks here. But thanks to some COVID-related stuff, Orange County has to play Sacramento. So you're getting thrown in a Sacramento game or match here, followed by San Diego over the weekend. And then the next match would have been Friday. And then the next match would have been 7 or 8 days after that. So this was a point of the schedule where it was more like a regular schedule, but because of COVID, now you have the Sacramento match thrown in here on the road. And then you have to travel all the way down to San Diego on the road for a match this week. So Not the easiest of scenarios for Orange County, although we have seen that they can beat San Diego on the road. That's possible, especially with that awesome left foot of Aiden Quinn. San Diego's not a walk in the park. San Diego is right now, if you look at the schedules, they have more points than Orange County, although they are playing in a group that is a little less competitive than what we have. Or is that not correct?
You mean Sacramento?
Did you say? You said San Diego, right?
Well, Sacramento. I'm sorry. I meant Sacramento.
See what happens when it gets hot here, everyone? We don't know how to function. We're like computers.
So Orange County is traveling up to Sacramento for Wednesday night match. So if you're listening right now, that's tomorrow. If you're listening on the podcast, probably tonight. Or it already happened and you know the result. And then they have to travel down to San Diego. So we talked about it last week. 4 points or bust for Orange County in the 2 matches against Los Dos. What is it this week with Sacramento and San Diego? Do they need to get all 6 points in these matches? And is that possible? I'm going to go to you first, Dylan.
Yes. I understand Sacramento has more points, but look at the teams. Look at the team they play. They play a winless T2 that is just hemorrhaging. Are they still winless? I mean, I didn't say
yes.
They haven't even. Yes. They have no results. They have zero results.
Only team without a win or a draw.
Have they scored more than 5 goals at this point?
Who knows?
They've scored 9 all season. So
there you go. Okay.
But they've conceded 37. What? That goalkeeper has no future. I'm sorry, whoever you are, goalkeeper.
Yeah, but he's like 17. Give him a break because 6 of those came against Phoenix on opening night. But
7 against Reno. And 7 against
Reno. So they're not that terrible outside of 2 horrific experiences and performances. But no, if you're playing a team like T2 and you're playing a team like Tacoma Defiance, yikes. You probably want to be getting 3 points from every match, but that's also the expectation that Orange County has. And if you ask Rob Kiernan what the expectation for Orange County is, it's to win every match. So I would say 2 evenly matched teams because Orange County is underperforming at the moment based on what the expectation should be and the quality that this team has. I think Orange County gets the win. They need to win more, and they'll be very, very determined to right the wrongs from last week. And then it's San Diego, which is, you need another win. And that one might be a bit of a toss-up because San Diego, if anyone didn't pay attention, signed a lot of players and has a new assistant coach, and that might give them a little bit of a bump. Miguel Berry, I know we talked about him maybe joining Orange County a while ago, pre-COVID times. He's maybe not had the best of starts that he was hoping for, but as he grows into time, same thing we saw with Ugo Okoli, quality players are going to have quality performances after a little bit of time, and that might be a thing here. So being good at the back is going to be the only way that Orange County is going to get 4 to 6 points from this week.
So let me just, before I go to you, Alan, Dylan, I just want to confirm. So you're saying 3 points against Sacramento, hopefully a point against San Diego, if not 3 points.
It's a bit like the Los Dos thing where you say you need 6 points and you should get 6 points based on the last month or 2 weeks. But I think you at this point maybe settle for 4, just given you're playing a game every 3 days.
And as a betting man, you'd pick the win, the 3 points against Sacramento over San Diego is what you're saying.
Yeah, because I know they have a field of 1 billion 15-year-olds in Cameron Owasa, but we have a field of 2 billion 15-year-olds and Frederick Dew. So,
all right, let's go to you, Alan. So, being the San Diego person in this group, you might be able to give a little bit more of a educated answer for Orange County beats San Diego.
So
nothing against you, Dylan, but Alan follows San Diego a little bit more closely than you do. He just came to the San Diego podcast, so it's fresh in his mind. Go for it.
Couple things about Sacramento. Sacramento's only lost once this year. They have beaten Reno in this 5-game win streak, 1-0. So Sacramento is not going to be a walkover. I think they're going to be a pretty good opposition, but I think Orange County raises their game to meet Sacramento as they did against Phoenix. Okay. I think Sacramento, Orange County goes in. Anyone can beat Reno? Well, I mean, they lost twice and haven't drawn, so I'm not sure how many people are beating Reno. Reno beat Phoenix, just to put that out there. Reno is not a joke team. Reno might be the number 1 seed from the West when everything's said and done. Sacramento has a chance. San Antonio has a chance. It's like neck and neck. But the West might come down to who can go on the road and beat Reno. And going on the road and beating Reno is not an easy task. I think Orange County raises their play. It's fine. It's fine. I'm right once a week. This just happens to be it. It's fine. I think Orange County goes on the road and raises their game to meet Sacramento's. Here's the thing I'm worried about with Orange County. LA Galaxy 2 has San Diego, Vegas, San Diego, Vegas before they see Orange County again on the 30th. I can make an argument that Los Dos in those 4 games gets 12 points. Which means before LA and Orange County play again on September 30th, they need to be less than 3 points away because Los Dos is probably going to have the win tiebreaker over Orange County going into that match. Orange County finishes with Vegas on the road, which is no easy feat, but it's doable for Orange County. Los Dos plays Phoenix on the road. Yeah, for sure. For sure. But I think Reno took it to Phoenix, and yes, they play Portland, and yes, they've lost. I think their 2 losses are to Sacramento, 1-0 both times. So yeah, on paper, they'll probably have more points. Same thing with San Antonio, but you play who you play. And Reno is not a joke. Like Reno's a tough team. That man marking system is tough to play against, and they got some players up there. Orange County doesn't have to worry about Reno anymore until the playoffs. What they do have to worry about is Los Dos getting 3 points against San Diego on Wednesday, playing at home to Vegas on the 15th and getting 3 points against Vegas, playing at home against San Diego and possibly getting 3 more points, and then going on the road. Orange County has got to win against Sacramento, San Diego, and Vegas on the 9th, 13th, and 18th. They have to. If they want an easier path, playing Phoenix, LA, Vegas on the last 3 matches. So I say for Orange County, you got to go on the road to Sacramento and get 3. You got to walk into San Diego and get 3. You did it before, but now you have Rubio Rubin, who's probably in that match. You have Alejandro Guido from LAFC, who instantly changed the match against Vegas. San Diego is not the same team that was able to be counterattacked 3 times and managed to find the back of the net. I think Orange County San Diego match, to me, regardless of it being like San Diego versus Orange County, which I absolutely love, I think it's going to be it's going to be a dirty boxing match. It's going to be like a 3-0 field goal wins it football game in the mud. Like just old school, pound it out. I don't think that I don't think that's going to be a pretty match. That Orange County San Diego match, I don't think it's going to be pretty. It's not. It's going to be gross. I think it's going to be 1-0. I think San Diego can pull this one out and shock Orange County because Orange County hasn't been able to score goals. But I think right now Orange County needs to look at those next 3 matches and get 6 points. And if Orange County goes into San Diego and gets 3 points, then I think they have an inside track because I think they can go toe-to-toe to Phoenix. I think they can beat LA, but that September 30th match might be their season.
I think the biggest thing is it's going to be an ugly match. I think Alan's absolutely right. That bodes really well because I don't know if you've watched the playoffs before, but they're not pretty. The match against St. Louis was only pretty because they went down to 10-man in 2018. The match against Reno was horrific. Reno, I believe, had 36 or 33 crosses, 9% of which were successful in that match. They are very ugly matches. It's all about nicking a goal and holding on and hoping that everyone switched on for a full 90-minute performance. And it's total chaos. So this is the best possible kind of test for, honestly, both these sides. I think if you're San Diego, you get a win here, maybe you kick on, and that's enough to kind of get you to sneak in. And if it's not, then, well, you're a few more points out of the race and maybe just pack it in and, see you in 2021.
So let's do this then. I want to do some score predictions for these two matches that Orange County faces this week. I'm going to kick things off. I usually go last, but I'm going to kick things off. And I'll tell you the reason I'm going to kick things off is I have a specific thing that I do for score predictions. And everything was going great in this season until I listened to Dylan and didn't do the thing I normally do for score predictions. All of a sudden, things have gone downhill. So Sacramento, 5-0 over Orange County. San Diego, 5-0 over Orange County. Dylan, what are your score predictions?
Two in Orange County. 1-0 Orange County.
Alan?
I think they go to Sacramento, and I think they put in 2 and win 2-0. I think Frederick Dew comes up and does a good job against Sacramento. And to be consistent and transparent, I picked a 1-0 San Diego upset against Orange County. I think if Orange County scores anything more than 0 goals, Orange County walks out with a point.
All right, there we go. So, I'm thinking about it now, because I went back to a way of doing things because it works, and then I went first. That's going to totally ruin things on here. So hopefully I did not do that. But
way to go.
But we got to get the win. We got to get both wins there. Let's do this. Let's talk about some other stuff. Anyone that's watching or listening knows that Alan's now retired, but I still participate in EUSL. And I kicked off the Premier League this season with 2 matches, both of them losses. I'm not expecting to do great in video game soccer this season because I'm one of the lower teams in the Premier League, but it is what it is. Alan is retired from video game soccer, competitive video game soccer. And I think from video game soccer in general, because he's not going to buy the new game. So I think he just totally hung up his controller and he's done. But I'm still going to get these 2 to do some match of the week stuff. So again, follow us on social media, Twitter for the EUSL Xbox. It's EUSL_Xbox for information.
Just retired from EUSL and video game sports. Not forever, but I had a thumb thing and I had some reconstructive surgery. I think it's just time for me to hang it up in competitive video game soccer. I think, I focus on my family or whatever, spend time with the dog. I don't know. I got teaching things to do, and that's taking up all my
time. But yeah, come check it out. Check out Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. Look for EUSL _Xbox, or just type in EUSL Xbox. You can find the information and you can watch matches. I run the social media for that group now, so I'm trying to at least have information on matches whenever possible, so you can watch. Pretty much all of us are USL fans, so that play in this league. So you're watching and supporting fellow USL fans as they strive for greatness in video game soccer, and whatnot. Any other soccer related stuff we want to talk about? I guess someone threw it into the comments, although we didn't put it up there. Yeah, there it is right there. Oakland Roots announcement that they're going to be coming to USL, I believe, is what was in an article up in, I guess, the Bay Area. Although I think when the article first came out, it was the USL Championships, but they quickly corrected it once it was wrong. I guess it seems like they're the ones that are replacing Fresno, I guess, which is probably no surprise to many people that follow the league. Thoughts of Oakland? They're going
into they're actually replacing the USL East Bay bid. That was a future consideration was the East Bay, and I think they're taking over that. Really creative ownership group. One of the best.
Awesome logo.
Yeah, one of the best crests in now USL. I know they're doing a great job as far as branding and getting people to show up and a good fan base up there. I know some people in NISA are a little bit pissed off about it because of, the normal things people in lower soccer get pissed off about USL is corporate. The same thing USL fans get mad about MLS. MLS is corporate. But you can't blame an ownership group trying to put their team and their investment into the best position possible.
More stable.
Yeah. And I'm excited to see the Oakland Roots because I think they're going to bring a creative brand of soccer to the USL and do it in a way that's going to attract a lot of neutral fans, a la the Ford Madison does, where you're going to get a lot of people who are following the franchise just because of what they do off the pitch. And they're going to need some help on the pitch. But, I mean, if USL has proven anything, like you can come into the league as a first-year team and be a competitive team. I mean, New Mexico and El Paso in their second year are running Group C right now. So,
well, can I say this really quick? Right, probably not there's probably the best time to grow a Oakland-based sports team because you just had the Warriors leave for San Francisco just 1 or 2 seasons ago. Oakland just left. Vegas, the Raiders just left Oakland, heading there this season. So there's this void of professional sports in Oakland. You'll basically have the A's, which is as close to a minor league team you're going to get in Major League Baseball. So sorry for A's fans, but I mean, you look at what teams spend in Major League Baseball, they're always at the very, very bottom. It reminds me of the scene from the movie Moneyball where you have Brad Pitt saying, you got the Yankees, you got so-and-so, and then you got like Oakland way down, like at the ankles there. So best time to be trying to grow a sports team in Oakland is right now because there's this big void of professional sports. Dylan, you had something really quick to say on that?
I'll be curious to see where they're playing because they're currently playing on a surface that has a haunted past. I believe it's the surface that Raya OKC played on way back in the day. It's on its like third or fourth team, but all the teams have folded. It's some really curious stuff, but I'm excited. I don't think they're going to be the biggest rival to our side next year. I think they're going to be one of those teams, and I hope this doesn't happen, but they're going to kind of roll up. They might get some early success on this season. They'll have a dedicated fan base, and they'll maybe do like the New Mexico thing where they're like, oh, we invented supporter culture. We're the best. All your other fans suck. Your team's trash because you don't have fans or whatever. The New Mexico thing where you're like, we're great. We're so great. And we finished 10th in the only year of our existence, but we're so great. That's what I think is going to happen. I think our biggest rival is probably still going to be Phoenix because we're the 2 biggest teams in the Western Conference and we play head to head and we have a history. And we've talked to players and coaches about this from both sides, and they've basically said the same thing. Rivalries take years to develop, and they're only rivalries if they're competitive.
Perfect. Any other soccer-related stuff either of you want to throw out there before we start wrapping things up with some random thoughts? I'm going to take the silence as nothing else soccer-related to talk about. Before we get to random thoughts, though, I do need to quickly let everyone know, hey, over the weekend, again, I told y'all my wife's birthday this month, and we're doing a bunch of fun stuff. Alan participated in one of those amazing events. It was an escape room, and he even dressed up for it. There is your boy Alan on the right side of the picture,
I'm in love.
dressing up to try and take a generic Willy Wonka character to prominence in our escape room. What was your name again, Alan?
Willy Wombat?
Willy Wombat was Alan's character name. Obviously, a play on the famous chocolatier Willy Wonka from the movies. He did more the classic Willy Wonka as opposed to the Johnny Depp version, which a lot of people probably disliked. I thought it looked more, and I'll show the picture again. I thought he looked more like T-Pain, but close enough, right? What do you think, Dylan? More T-Pain or more Willy Wonka from Alan there?
Is that a second pair of glasses? Hold on. Let me just start with this one. If you're listening to the podcast, go ahead and jump on over to 5530 on the live stream version in the video, just so you can see this wonderful thing. Alan, tell your wife I'm apparently in love with this image. I think the second pair of sunglasses makes a little bit too T-Pain, but I'm all here for this. This is wonderful.
They were actually steampunk goggles. So
all right, you big nerd. This nerd is teaching your children, parents of Temecula.
The funny thing is, we lost some viewers once I started showing pictures of Alan dressed up as either Willy Wonka or T-Pain, whatever we can do.
I'm not surprised. I don't blame them. I'm like, oh, what is this? Click off. Get rid
NSFW. No, none of this.
Just wait, though. Dylan's going to be participating in one of these fun events in a couple weeks. We have to see what he's going to look like. And we're definitely going to have to show off that image on here as well. So, and then we can put a side-by-side of Alan and Dylan and see who did it better, who pulled off their look better. So had to do that, though, really quick. Let's get to some random thoughts. I'll go to you first, Dylan.
Oh, man. I kicked a soccer ball today for the first time in 3 months, and it felt incredible. That's my random thought, is kicking a soccer ball comes back like riding a bike.
Sweet and simple. What about you, Alan?
My random thought is, I know we're still stuck in weird things, but some stuff reminded me this weekend is make sure you're still finding time to spend time with the people that you care about and the people that you appreciate. I'm going to be pretty frank and say this past couple weeks have been a little bit tough on me professionally, both physically and emotionally. And something this weekend reminded me just to take some time to make sure that I'm engaging the people that I care about, and still work on those relationships and still spend time with each other, because I had so much joy just getting some time to spend with some people this weekend. My wife and I went for a nice drive yesterday. It was just nice to kind of just do those small things with each other. So I know I've said this a few times, but this weekend really reminded me that sometimes just taking some time away from those things that are stressing you out. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to take a mental break. Your work will be there. Your stress will be there when you're done. But just really trying to make sure you're investing in yourself and your community in a way that revitalizes you and gets you ready to go. Because this is rough still. So just revitalize yourself in finding, even if it's something new or something old, go back and play a Mario Brothers video game. Just do something with people and things that you care about that might not bring any value in far as a job is concerned, but bring value to you as a human and connect with somebody.
Nice. Man, how do I follow up? Alan's awesome words there, and I'm going to come out here. No, what I was going to say though, if you are trying to figure out what you can do to interact with people, engage with people, there are plenty of ways to do that. I mentioned again my wife's birthday this month, and we've created all these virtual events where friends can get together and have fun. We did an event where Alan dressed up as T-Pain. We did chocolate tasting. Both Alan and Dylan were part of that, and it was actually a pretty informative and interesting experience. And we got to taste some really yummy chocolates, by the way. And I did mention to this company that hosted it, if we enjoy it, I'm definitely going to plug them on my podcast, which is what I'm doing now. The company that we utilized for that chocolate tasting is called Cocoa Beantown. They're actually located out of Boston. They shipped out the chocolates to us. and then it was like a 1.5 hour or maybe even longer Zoom call where the owner of the company was on there educating us about different chocolates and the way chocolates are made and how you get certain flavors and textures and all this stuff. And she was teaching us to become chocolate experts, where we got to the point where we tried to, I guess, do a tasting and determine which chocolate was the craft chocolate and which one was the mass-produced store chocolate. Let me just ask really quick because I can't remember. Did you guys get that right or wrong?
I got it wrong, but I misinterpreted the question and I guessed which one was the fake chocolate, like the Lindor hot chocolate. I knew it was the other one because it was like way more flavorful. Like that peppery part was actually pretty yummy, but I got it wrong.
I did the same thing. Yeah, so maybe Ray, your random shot should be chocolate tastings are fun with smart people that are also really personal and fun. This isn't an ad. But the second one is don't eat spicy chocolate.
Hey, those spicy chocolates were my favorites.
You nasty.
It was cool though to learn, like, because I think there was one chocolate we had that looked like it was a milk chocolate, but we learned it was actually more chocolate content than anything else. It was a dark chocolate. There was no milk in it, but it definitely looked and tasted and had the texture of a milk chocolate, which is pretty cool. Other thing I just wanted to mention, if you're looking for something to watch on the streaming apps available, HBO Max has a really cool documentary called Class Action Park. It talks about a water park in New Jersey back in the 80s called Action Park, like the deadliest theme park or deadliest water park ever. If you haven't heard of it or you want to watch this, it was actually really awesome to see. I had read a little bit about this theme park in the past and decided, let me watch this. And it was awesome. So if you have HBO Max, go check it out. Let's wrap things up. Dylan, where can our listeners find you on the internet areas of the internet?
You can find me at OCSC_Dylan on Twitter, /u/OCSC_Dylan on Reddit, or at eldonnews.org under the byline Dylan Allen.
All right, and Alan, if Rob Kiernan wants to reach out to you to congratulate you on how awesome you were with your analysis of his hand clapping at the end of the San Diego match, where does he reach out to you at?
Rob Kiernan can find me at DJ Ray Samora. No, at Underwood 48 on the Twitter machines. I welcome his friendly banter.
Perfect. And you can reach me at DJ Ray Samora on Twitter. You can also follow the podcast on Twitter at OCSC_SoccerCast, or go to our website, OCSCpodcast.com, to listen to this and every other episode we've ever released, to hear all the interesting things we have to say about Orange County Soccer Club and a bunch of other random stuff. Once again, I want to thank our guest, Rob Kiernan, for taking some time to join us here on this episode of the podcast. His second time with us. Maybe we'll go for a third here in the near future. For Rob, for Dylan, for Alan, this is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast. Oh, wait. Alan, go.
I was not ready for this. I was about to tweet at Rob Kiernan to say I was sorry I missed him.
The same old.
No, not that one.
Oh,
you got to start with Roughneck Scarves. Come on, know the order.
Do you want a
know
dope
the order. You want
scarf?
a dope? Thanks to our sponsor.
There we go.
Thanks to our sponsor, Roughneck Scarves, official scarf supplier to the MLS, USL, and US Soccer. Get your custom scarves for your group or team at roughneckscarves.com. Tired of the same old uniforms and cookie cutter templates from Nike and Adidas? Looking for a unique, completely custom kit for your youth club, Sunday league squad, adult, or even pro team? Icarus FC can help you create the kit of your dreams at an affordable price. Let them help you design your new custom kit today at IcarusFC.com.